Hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of In Defense Of, where we examine various facets of pop culture and society and present an explanation or rationale to endeavors that some might not be too pleased with. Now before you start to get too worked up, I'd like to let you know that our objective is not to tell anyone that they're wrong, nor are we out to justify racist or bigoted behavior. We merely want to help others gain some kind of understanding as to why certain decisions progress, and that hopefully through that understanding, an amicable resolution can be achieved, if we don't outright avoid similar rifts down the line. With that said, I'd like to begin this episode by addressing one of the more recent events that has divided a fan base, the character of Apu Nahasapeemapetilon from The Simpsons. In his 2017 documentary, The Problem with Apu, comedian Hari Kondabolu expressed his disappointment with The Simpsons for depicting such a blatant stereotype for close to 3 decades. From his heavy accent, to his occupation, religion, and eventually his overpopulated household, Apu has been used to showcase some of the most intentionally specific assumptions about Indian culture to an exaggerated degree for comedic effect. And it's not like the show has tried to hide it.
Mamma mia!
Hitman!
Yeehaw! Arr, me mateys. Arr. Oh, they begged me to join their team. Begged me.
But what Kondabolu argues in his documentary is that the character is causing too much harm by making it difficult for Indian members of society to be accepted or taken seriously by their contemporaries. And he's not wrong. But just because our culture has evolved in a manner that such antics has reached a tipping point, it doesn't mean that the entire venture has all been in vain. When he was first introduced, the very conception of Apu was itself a punchline and a stereotype. When Bart walks into the local convenience store, it is being tended to by an Indian immigrant, which made viewers collectively aware that a large number of convenience stores are franchised to Indian Americans. While they aren't the first to make such an observation, The Simpsons was one of the first to present it to such a large audience. And though such a depiction wasn't inherently beneficial to the Indian demographic, it did help other viewers more readily accept Apu as part of the Simpsons community. He wasn't threatening or challenging to their comfortable assumptions. He wasn't somebody out to guilt or lecture them and make them exercise their tolerance for such antics. He just was what they presumed he was, and because viewers readily accepted what he was, they eventually began to take interest and grow with the character. Starting with the Season 5 episode, Homer and Apu, the way viewers experienced Apu began to expand, and with that expansion came emotional interest. Audiences learned why such a menial job meant so much to him. They worried when he faced deportation. They celebrated his nuptials, laughed when his attempts to grow his family went out of control, and became dismayed when his fidelity faltered, as so many others have done. He is also a fixture in his community and never hesitates to help others when they need it. Aside from being a volunteer firefighter, Apu has helped Lisa in her transition to becoming a vegetarian, offered Homer a job to help support his daughter's dream of owning a pony, and even coached one of the town's youth hockey teams. And through this character, audiences started to learn about Indian culture. Not in the most ideal of ways, admittedly, but the contributions of this character should not be disregarded when discussing how he's affected our society. Over the years, millions have welcomed the Jolly Bengali into their homes. This is why so many have become defensive in the wake of the criticism he's facing. But it must also be acknowledged that people change, not just as individuals, but as a whole. It's what's taken us from cave dwellings to penthouses in the skies. And as our society continues to grow and evolve, so too does our responsibility to all its denizens that their acceptance is not discarded or marginalized. Perhaps society has gotten to a point where Apu's antics can no longer justify his presence. That isn't a bad thing. It shows growth, and not all growth is easy. But just because a day may come to bid adieu to Apu, it doesn't mean we should forget all the joy he's brought us over the years. Thank you for watching, and if you have any other ideas for future installments, please leave your suggestions in the comments below. I hope we've managed to help you gain some kind of understanding for the situation at hand. Until next time, please take care, and we hope to see you again. Have a nice day.